I am no longer an Arab. I am now identifying myself as a Cambodian man from the mountains of Cambodia. Being an Arab can only mean one thing: disappointment, frustration, anger, the desire to rip your own hair out. Why? Why, you might ask? Well, let me walk you through the recent events that unfolded that have led me to this. There was a period in time where there was a country that we all hated. Every Arab hated this country. But every Muslim hated this country. Whether you were Sunni or Shi'i, whether you were Christian, whether you were agnostic, atheist, no matter who you were, you hated this country. We all hated Israel. We all rallied ourselves together and found common ground on the Palestinian cause. The injustice that afflicted Palestine was the thing that united all of us. So no matter how many debates or arguments or disagreements we had, we all knew that we had this topic that we could always agree on. And for the first time in a long time, it looked like that the resistance, the axis of resistance, was doing some serious damage to Israel. It was the first time in a while where we saw, a military confrontation with Israel, where Israel was not dominating the region, where they were actually losing the war. We saw them take losses militarily. We saw economic losses. We saw strategic losses. And we saw their prime minister, Netanyahu, on the verge of being ousted and arrested. We saw the international community rallying together in condemnation of Israel. We saw arrest warrants being issued for Yoav Gallant and Benjamin Netanyahu for their war crimes of genocide in Palestine. Everything was looking good. There was finally some sort of temporary ceasefire in Lebanon after they had spent, countless months fighting them and confronting them and had the whole south of Lebanon obliterated, lost like hundreds or thousands of lives in the process, buildings, infrastructure destroyed, people fleeing their homes, leaving behind their belongings. All this took place, but it was for the greater good. We saw that it was actually working. Resisting them was actually working. We were getting somewhere militarily until Israel reaches deep into their ass and pulls out this Uno card that nobody could have seen coming. The Syrian rebels, who were absolutely MIA this last year, at least while this confrontation was going on with Israel, silence, not a peep, not a word. I actually heard Al-Qaeda was telling Hamas to return the hostages. Suddenly, when Israel is on the back burner, when Israel looks like it's the beginning of the end for them, this group of so-called rebels goes in and essentially cripples the entire axis of resistance. And you have people that say they support Palestine, that say they support the creation of a Palestinian state, that are celebrating the absolute destruction and demise of any sort of possibility of the creation of a Palestinian state, and that are celebrating the beginning of the end for all these other countries that have been resisting Israel for the last however many years. We have Israel, who's expanding further into Syria, taking on more land. They took the largest mountain in the region that is a strategic gold mine for any military that is fighting in the region, and the area which controls most of the drinking water for the Syrians and for the Israelis. And yet all we're seeing is people giving out sweets, giving out cakes, dancing, celebrating, jumping up for joy. Meanwhile, Israel is quite literally bombing the shit out of the so-called free Syria to the point that it's causing earthquakes to occur in Syria. And I'm just sitting here watching this like, what the hell is going on? Yani, are we really celebrating the end of any sort of resistance in the region against Israel? Are we really celebrating the fact that Israel has now reestablished its dominance in the region? And are we really celebrating that ISIS is now the de facto government of Syria? Is that what we're celebrating? Like, rather than going out and continuing the fighting against an occupational government that's taking on more and more of your land and bombing you regularly and significantly and destroying all your military infrastructure, all I'm seeing on a daily basis is a bunch of people sitting, dancing, shouting, partying in Damascus while all this is going on. Like, at some point, somebody has to ask, like, hey guys, what are we doing tomorrow? Are we gonna resist against this country that's invading our sovereignty, that's destroying our military infrastructure, that's taking out more of our land? Are we gonna go and do that? No, maybe we'll just party some more. Maybe we'll just dance in the fucking Times Square. I am absolutely done. Any glimmer of hope that was embedded within me these last few months has been absolutely obliterated. And the fact of the matter is, everybody that's sitting here clapping and that is happy about the recent events that unfolded in Syria, I don't even know what to tell you. I genuinely don't. It's not to say Bashar al-Assad was some fucking saint. The guy was a piece of shit. But the whole region is filled with piece of shits. We had Saudi Arabia, piece of shit. We had Egypt, piece of shit. A whole bunch of piece of shit leaders. And suddenly, when shit was looking bad for Israel, all of a sudden now we have the immediate removal. We need the immediate removal of this one specific piece of shit. Okay, why not jump and call for all the removal of all the piece of shits? I'm at a loss for words, man. I'm at a loss for words. Like, I don't know. We're fucking cooked.